Cheers.
Yo, guys, welcome back to Rishi's Reviews with Paul Danjau, Lee Higginbottom, Raheem Kerry, Helen Thompson, and Christina.
Aguilera.
Aguilera. What is it? Gulata. There we go, guys. Welcome, and thank you for everyone that tuned in last week. We had a great response, and hope you lot enjoyed it. So today we decided to talk about the exit strategies, people, because as you know, as of 8th of April, apparently UK hit the peak of coronavirus, which we've all been trying to say, once the peak goes down, then things will get better and we can start going out. Number one, yeah, he did. Sorry, people. That was Paul burping there. Paul with a lovely burp. Look at that, Paul. Love the number plate. Right. Yeah, so we're going to talk about exit strategies and how they affect everyone and stuff like that. Paul, you going for it? Who's going to start on this one?
I'll start. I'll start.
Go for it.
So basically, like, where you come from is like your position in society. So, like myself, I work freelancing, lots of stadiums, basically zero-based hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I work as a zero-based hours person. All right. I'm self-employed as well, and I've got my own company as well, like that. Yeah. So at the moment, I'm at a dead stop. Nothing's going on, no events, that's the industry I mean, nothing going on. So I want the exit strategy to be, we go back to normal. But on the medical research and the medical stuff aside of things, we've got to follow them guys, and they know what's right. And I've done a degree in maths and stuff like that, and I understand the statistics and understand the R factor, which is very important. And so I can follow them rather than my head or my immature side, which tells me to just go out there. Yeah, I can be fearless against everything. So I disagree with that. I want to go with the stats. I want to go what's right, because I don't want to tempt God or tempt fate and get it transmitted to my family. So although I'm losing money for my staff and my business, the government helped out in certain ways, so I've got the furlough and stuff, but I just want to get out there and get going. So what indicators are pushing me to get out there is, so they said the other day that we passed the peak, and we're going to now go for a slower slide to get back to normality. I want to understand, what is normality? When can we get out there?
I don't think the peak is gone. See, in my country, Italy, absolutely not. UK started 2 weeks
actually. So yeah, let me go.
Italy.
So Paul, that you made a valid point, because your point is, what is normality with this exit structure? Because for some it might be normal, for others this social distancing can take on 2 years. Now I want to go with Christina, because Christine, you just made a valid point. One of the worst hit countries with COVID-19, it was obviously Italy. And now with Italy coming out of lockdown, are they really coming out of lockdown? So go on, what's your views on that?
I think that UK cannot start opening up earlier than Italy, because Italy will start on the 4th of May slowly, and the last thing to open will be the beginning of June, and UK started to be in lockdown 2 weeks after Italy. So for me, it's like, it's impossible. For me, this is not the peak time, because Italy reached the peak time, and then immediately after they had actually another increase of death. And it was immediately after what they said, oh, we reached the peak time. So I think they need to be cautious, and it's impossible for UK to open up at the same time as other countries in Europe.
I got something to add to that, actually.
Go on, go for it, Lee.
So everybody knows that all the graphs that we're being shown on in the papers, on the news, it's a bell curve. So the bell curve goes up and then it comes down exactly like that. Well, if we've just got past the peak, that means you can double the deaths that have already happened. And that's the best result we're going to get. So if we're at 26,000, you're looking at 52,000 deaths total. So if we open up now, the bell curve isn't going to be a bell anymore. It's going to bell, and then it's going to come out slowly and then flatten out.
Can I just interject on that in terms of, yes, I think you're completely right, but in terms of, especially in terms of your industry, is like that's this season.
Yes.
Then again, it's going to start again in the next flu season, obviously, starting from October or whatever, which obviously impacts immensely on events, So I think yes, we talk about peaks right now, but then there's going to be another peak, as you were saying just now, like another little one. But the next flu season is a massive peak.
Yeah. So Helen, you're absolutely right. And Lee's touched on the curve, but I'm a stats man. I love stats. And if the government have got the stats right, in a sense that what's the rate and these curves.
You see my face?
I know. Boring.
Really?
Boring. Listen, I was forced to do accounts when I was young.
Right. Sorry,
anyway, what I'm trying to say. Sorry, Rich. Sorry, Raheem.
The stats we're being fed and the real stats are two different things. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So before Raheem, sorry, I just want to butt in, but you're absolutely right, Helen. It's finding that right information that can give us the right decisions.
Right. That's perfect. I want to go back to Helen.
Can I just say one thing? The stats are only related to people in hospitals. There are millions that died at home. They don't include in the stats.
Exactly.
So how do we talk about that?
No, but do we know that though? I mean, like Helen, you just mentioned quickly that the stats that we're being told and the real stats are different. But how do you know that?
Because they also said because there is only hospitalized people. They don't consider people that they die at home.
They're not
taking.
Registered. Only just started within the last week, registering people in care homes that have started dying. They're not registering people that have died at home. They're only registering people dying that are in hospital at the moment. That's not the true reflection of the picture of the nation. Asshole.
Just a quick note, actually, if you look at past issues we've had with relating to this, like SARS, etc., you can always add on at least 10%.
Yeah. And I would say probably fucking more in this case.
Raheem, what's your opinion, mate?
For me, the exit strategy, regardless what they do, there is going to be a second wave because they already predicted that they won't even find a cure for it for another 2 to 3 years. So
exactly. So now let me come up with another question for you, Reem. Being for you as well, because you've got family in America. America at this precise moment is the most hit country with COVID-19, so that's stressful for you. You're here by yourself, as a student in a dorm by yourself, isolated, not really going out as much. So this exit strategy, like they say, let's say they say by the end of May. Now, how do you think that affects you? Is it a good exit? What you've seen, is it good for you? Because you're a steward as well. So your livelihood in this country is about going to events, on a weekly basis to earn your money, to put food on your table. Now, we know if there's not going to be a cure for another, 2 to 3 years, we've been told if there's not mass vaccination, there's no mass gatherings. If there's no mass gatherings, that means there's no events. How does this affect you, bro?
For me, is more because since I get student loans from my mom and stuff like that, so mainly my mom support me, but I would have to go back to New York for the summer and then come back in September when when hopefully everything start back. So
do you want to go back to New York though? Because that's obviously one of the high hit areas at the moment.
That's a good point.
A good idea.
That's a good point.
So if that's a yes or no. I do want to go back to be with my family and stuff like that, but originally I was planning to stay in London for the summer just to see what London is like and enjoy that. Only I was able to do that is if I work over the summer. Obviously I can't work, so I would have to go back. But because of the coronavirus,
yeah.
yes.
So sorry, Harry, we're talking about New York, London. We're not stupid in these countries yet. We're quite ahead of the medical game. So you should be safe here until it calms down, and then go back and check the family. If I had family in the Far East or a certain bad area, I'd be worried, and I'd want to go back because it could be the last time you see your family. But me personally, Raheem, I think you're safe, man, and your family are safe.
So just another thing on this. Sorry, Raheem. Sorry, Paul. Raheem, before you go on, here's another thing now. We know the aviation has been hit probably one of the hardest in this country, obviously, NHS and all that stuff. But, do you know, Richard Branson's already sold half of his, flights to, his planes, I should say, to the Chinese government, if I'm right in saying, Hong Kong, maybe.
Surprise.
Can you check that out for me, Lee? Because you're really good at that. Just have a quick look for me, who's actually bought them. Do you know? So the aviation, and people aren't going to want to fly. Number one, people ain't going to have the money. Number two, people are going to be shitting themselves, you know? So imagine there is no flights out for the next year.
Well, there are flights, by the way.
Yeah, there are.
My girlfriend just flew for extenuate, like her father or child is dying of cancer, and she's from Czech Republic, and she managed, it was hard, but she managed to find a way to go to Arizona to be with him before he dies of cancer. I mean, it's a moving story, but she did the flight. She did manage it. It's happening.
How scary must that be, though, to be on a flight where the air is circulating around and you don't know who's with you? How are you so?
But from her point of view, like, she wanted. It was emotional, and she wanted to do it.
We need to start living. It's like, I think that's one of the good, if I consider Italy and UK, at one point, I was about to go back to Italy because my mum, she's on her own, and I've got all my family and friends, and I was like, I do the quarantine there. But then I actually think that the approach of giving more freedom in UK, the freedom of doing sport, that freedom of not filling a paper. In my country, in Italy, if you go out, you need to fill in a paper when you do the shopping. If you go for shopping and you buy only a can of Coke because you finish your Coke for your JD because you're depressed or whatever, they give you a fine.
Yeah.
It's true, because that's not considered. You need to go shopping once a week, and they check what you're buying
and get all your essentials.
And we're lucky. We're lucky what we're doing, how we are right now. We're lucky. Compared to Spain, France, Italy, I totally agree.
And I think that this approach, I think that people are realizing in this country that, that's your life in danger. So they take the decision of not going out. And there is always the case exception, the one that, is sunny, I want to get, to the park and get a tan. But there is police going around because I take my bicycle every day. And to be honest, I think that the English population is more respectful than the Italians because they do go and respect more.
Yeah,
right, hold on there. I think, Christina, you just hit the nail on the head, and we've progressed with the conversation. That's what it is, and I agree with what you're saying. And probably there's about like 50% of the people agree with you and want to get out there.
I think that's the problem.
They're waiting and waiting.
Not just get out there, respectfully get out there, right?
Yes,
just to clarify.
That's right. And like I'm a respectful person. I'm staying home, but I'm so naughty, unbelievable. I've got a job to do at home, and I'm staying at home because I've got DIY to do. But when I didn't have this to do, I was honestly out twice a day, driving my car, just going out for about half an hour. Because I didn't care about the lockdown. So if I could say that was about me, what about everyone else? And
yeah, but in your car, you're not causing any issue with, you know, what I see, and
Yeah.
I cycled really a lot in London. I did also on Sunday the London Marathon path in support of whatever. And I literally see, if I compare with Italy, that I speak to my friends every day, none of them have respected, because the more you put like you can't do, even with kids, if you tell your kids do not touch, they're going to touch it because they want to do it. The more you say do not do it, they want to do it. If you give the freedom, at one point they get bored and they will say, well, I've got the freedom. I want to stay home because I want to be alive.
Hold on, guys, I'm going to stop you here, yeah? So just quickly, right? So you've just touched on kids, yeah? So in this lockdown strategy, the first thing to open would be the schools, yeah? No matter what, right?
No. I personally think the schools are very important, but it should be the hospitals.
What do you mean? The hospitals are open?
No, they're not.
Of course they are.
Yes, they are.
That's why everyone's going there for COVID-19.
Yeah,
So
but only COVID-19. If you want to go for a dentist, you can't, or an exam, you can't.
No, the hospitals are open for non-essential purposes. They're open.
Exactly. Cancer patients, there's going to be an increase of cancer patients if they don't get seen and checked.
Yeah.
Cancer is a massive thing. So I think, my personal opinion, I might be wrong, it should be the hospitals first and then the schools. Now, the schools should have a strategy first. So hospitals first, then the schools.
Okay, so Helen, you having a daughter, you know, I don't think, and actually Paul, he's got kids as well. How do you social distance your kids in schools?
Well, exactly. I think that, like, when you hear rumors about, like, you know, like going back on the 1st of June, I honestly think fucking bullshit. I'm like, that, like, because it's so much stress on the teachers. It's so much, like, they've been under stress anyways. And then going back into, like, oh, let's all keep all children 2 meters apart. Really? You know, like, it's not, but just like, can everybody just take a breath? Like, if everybody's gonna miss, and what the, can I swear, Rishi, on this?
Yeah.
But what the fuck are they gonna do in the last month and a half of school? They're only doing school plays and everything anyways. It's like, just deal with it. Let them forego a month and a half of school. And get your strategies right, because the thing is that this is not going to go away. It's going to come back in September, October, whatever. So you need get your strategies right. Practice them. Just get it right. Don't rush to get back. Just get it right, and then the teachers are calm. Then they're not giving on stress to the kids, and they've got it all under control. For the sake of a month and a half of school, I say fuck it. Get it fucking right and do it right for September. Honestly, I think it's ridiculous.
That 2020 is over.
Yeah, well, no, not 2020, because no, they're going to go back in September. But for the sake of going back for a month and a half of school, of when they actually, honestly, the reality of real work never gets done anyways. It's ridiculous. I just say get it right.
Sorry, to cut you off. I want to ask Raheem this, because he's a university student, come from America to do his degree, and you're in your final year, is that right?
Yeah, no, I got one more left.
One more year left, but obviously it's a crucial year, whatever year, third year, second year, I'm not sure, sorry.
Second
year. So it's a crucial year. What do you think? Do you think you want to go back and finish your education and go into the third year, or are you happy to hold tight on it?
So for me, at the moment, already all my classes that's been scheduled is finished at last month, so I don't really have any class to go back to. But for kids that's in like middle school or below, them going back make no sense, because once they're in that classroom, no matter how hard you try to create that distance, they're still gonna get with their friends, go outside, do all of that stuff. In addition to that, kids get sick easier. So
a cough. Let's take a cough. I'm a child. I'm 10 years old. I'm 14 years old. I'm 2 meters away. Teacher's teaching me. I go, you have sprinkles. 15 minutes later, someone gets up and walks through that sprinkle. Are we not, if by opening up, do we just not raise the peak again?
I mean, the problem with that is it's easy to say, yeah, kids are less vulnerable. If they get it, they're more likely to survive. But who do those kids live with? They live with their parents. They go and see their grandparents. That's where the issue comes along. That's when it's going to spread.
Right, but I'm also like, sorry guys, I'm just going to cut to the chase because, you know, I'm more of a realist, and you know,
Same.
I'm a realist in terms of, like, you know, viruses are made to sort of, like, you know, they're made for a reason. They're made to cut out sort of, you know, if there's an excess of a population of anything, they're made to cut out excess, whatever.
So Helen, you're going on about the conversation us boys had last week, that this virus.
Sorry, missed that. Apologies.
That this virus is a man-made thing.
Oh no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying no, actually that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying any virus is made to cut out, it's nature. Like, that's just nature. Right.
So the virus wants to survive as much as a human wants to survive. It's the exact same thing. There's no difference, but it is its own being. It wants to survive, so it will survive as long as it can and mutate as much as it can to survive.
100%, and it's survival of the fittest. But the point is that the thing is that not all human of our, you know, excessive population, shall we say, on this planet is of the fittest. And I know that's a harsh view to say, but I mean, it is the fucking truth. And it's not going to be. This is what the governments are dealing with, and this is not what they're going to say publicly. This is not what they're going to say in papers, but it's the fucking truth. There are portions of our population that they will actually. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be popular for this saying, but it's no, but the thing is that it will be better for the population because there's a higher percentage of elder people that are not producing to this economy right now.
Oh, that's like the prime minister we got here.
But, no, but this is, I'm not saying that I believe in this, but I know that this fact is going around the government for sure. And the thing is that they're not producing to the economy, etc., etc. It's actually cheaper to let them be wiped out. Booyah.
Yeah. As an economy standard, you should open up tomorrow and just let the people who die and carry on as business as usual. And it would do the world as good. But from a morality point of view, it's not good.
I know. So that's why Sweden's an interesting example. And I honestly think that the UK was following the Sweden example until they looked at their stockpiles and realized they fucked up and didn't order when they should have, which probably Sweden did. And then they went, oh shit, we're in trouble, so we actually can't do the Sweden fucking... They were going to do the Sweden thing. They can't do the Sweden thing because they fucked up.
The thing about Sweden thing was about herd immunity. That's what it was. The thing about Sweden was herd immunity, correct? Right, go out, get it, build up an immunity.
That was the UK's original strategy. That was the UK's original strategy. Until they found out they fucked up and did not, they were advised to take and buy XXX supplies, and then they realized they didn't.
Yeah, but also
so they had to change their mind.
Because NHS is not at any point at the same level as any other countries in Europe. Yeah, Italy, which is crap in economy or whatever you can say, is one of the best NHS in the whole Europe. If everything that happened in Italy had to happen in UK, guys, this government would be kneeling 90 degrees since a long time.
Yeah. So I agree with you, Christina. Every country is different. You could take positives from different countries like Sweden, Germany, and everything. Everyone does everything different. And I wish we was like Sweden. But has any other country in Europe done in wages and money-wise as much as what England has done or UK has done by putting staff on furlough? I don't want to knock anyone here, but some of us here on this group are on furlough, some are not.
I'm not.
And like, I'm on furlough and I'm chilling out. I'm relaxed. So I'll have a very relaxed attitude about this. But like someone else who
like Raheem and Lee are not on furlough.
I cannot relax. I cannot relax. Absolutely not.
I'm not on furlough.
But you're your own boss though, aren't you? Helen.
Yeah, but I still have clients that are relying on the economy. Like, you know, it's not so easy.
But you're still working though in this time.
No, but
in this time I am working now.
Right.
But when they,
so for example, I think what Paul was saying. So there's an income coming in, which will be less stress for certain people. But you look at Raheem or Lee, there's no income coming in.
I'm literally sitting. Oh, I'm quite lucky. I've moved back in with my parents. I'm very lucky, but I am sitting, and I'm contributing basically from my mortgage savings. So every week I'm destroying my mortgage day by day. I mean, but
what about you, Raheem? Raheem.
So for me, I was extremely lucky that I paid off all of my rent in advance. So the only thing I have to worry about,
how many months?
I have it until the end of next month.
Smart man.
Yeah. So
okay. Let me ask another question.
So
then, you two.
Rishi, hold on. Let Raheem speak. Go on, Rishi. How hard is it for you?
So the real only thing I have to worry about is food, and for me, I normally spend roughly between $400 to $500 a month on food alone. So for now, it's me more like budgeting. Like I have to save this amount because I need to survive until next month and.
Shit, Raheem, that's a lot of money for one man on food. What the fuck are you eating? Caviar?
Caviar.
Sportsman, though. He does do athletics.
That's a lot of money on food.
Yeah, that is. But you live by yourself, mate. What you eating?
It is, but
You ain't even got TV. You told me.
You can't cook.
No, I actually do cook.
Away, chicken chop.
No, I actually do. The thing is that I do 2 sports, so I try to eat as much healthy stuff as possible. Which in the UK to buy healthy stuff is extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also the reason why.
Yeah, sorry, he does track. He does track running and all the Olympics.
Yeah, but fuck your health, man. If you see more belly.
So guys, sorry, I want to go back to you two again, Lee, and that. So with this whole lockdown, don't you want to go back to bloody work then? Because
desperate for
you,
work.
you
I would love to.
You know what? This is the first time in my life that I've ever been able to say that I miss work.
Okay, so
as much as I fucking hated it while I was there and while grinding away day by day, I actually miss it now.
But for someone who needs it, like Raheem and you, who need to earn money tomorrow, or Christina as well, per se. Right,
I'm living on my savings because the furlough is very little.
I know, but 1 minute, let's just go back. So the general consensus of this chat was, let's not open up the country too quick. Let's take our time. Let's even go into July. But is that still your thoughts, saying if you know you go back to work tomorrow? So let's just say the stadium opened tomorrow, Raheem, and you'd be like, yeah, let's do it. I'm back at work. You wouldn't care about the 60,000 or the spread of the virus.
See, I would to a certain extent because it's more like me. There's 60,000 people that's coming in, and I'm being interacting with more than half of them. So there's a 50% chance I'm gonna catch it, which is like, do I risk my life or just stay at home? That's where I gotta look at it from there.
What do you do?
Wait.
I would stay home, to be honest with you.
I was just gonna say.
Life is more important than that bit of money you're going to earn. Am I right in saying that?
But wait, can everybody just throw a little bit of grip though? Because like, you know, you can catch the virus doesn't necessarily mean you're going to die. I mean, I honestly think I caught it, and
I think I've already had it too.
Exactly. So it doesn't, you know, it's not like, you know, now this is clearly not for everybody, and there's not the science behind it, but it's not like kind of like, oh my God, there's a droplet on my package that's delivered by Amazon and I'm going to get it and I'm going to die, you know, and, you know, like it's slight over exaggeration. Oh, yes, you could get it. And then, yes, you're going to get a little bit sick, which is actually a fucking good thing, right? And,
well,
you know,
it's
and
not
then
a little
carry
bit
on,
sick.
you know?
It's a very big sick. It's not a little bit sick.
Yeah, but
not everyone gets in the same.
I mean, I honestly think I've had it, and mine was a little
we
bit
don't
sick.
know. Unless you've been tested.
Of course, I don't know, but by logic, honestly, I think I have. I'm not stupid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like by logic, I think I have. And many other people have different. And actually, I was talking to paramedics the other day, and they were saying that the symptoms are so like diverse. They were like, they were like taking a piss out of like the government, you know, fever, blah. And they're like, it's anything.
Helen, so what they said originally is if you got symptoms, stay at home for 14 days, you're probably strong enough to pass it. But those that go to hospital, they haven't produced the results yet. But I found out that those that go to hospital, 50% of them at the peak area died. So I believe that all of us on this group, I'm not knocking everyone, we're strong enough to survive it. Like you said,
exactly, Paul. I totally agree with you. I mean, I honestly think I really honestly did have it, and then because of X, Y, Z, and then so. But I guess what the point before going to Raheem was this kind of like, well, you're going to catch it, but it's also you're not necessarily going to die if you catch it. You see what I'm trying to say?
No, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree with what you're saying. But when we release from a lockdown and we go into the public, we're going to have to trust people around us, right? Yeah. And there's certain people that don't. Sorry, I'm putting my charger in. Hold on. We're going to have to trust. We're going to have to trust where we're going, right? Like, we're going to have to trust that we can carry on. But I believe that the exit strategies will be this kind of social distancing, but it won't work. It just won't work.
Not in this country. Definitely not.
Not in any.
Yeah.
Like, I already know that the amount of people that have, so the bank holiday, I've been speaking to some people that I won't mention, but they've been looking at the people that have gone out on the bank holiday Monday for people for the Olympic Park. And the amount of people that were in the Olympic Park was the same as a normal summer's day.
Yeah.
Okay, but I was actually in the Olympic Park on those weekends, and
so you were one of the culprits.
No, I was walking. No, but there was social, and there was security in the park. And the guy, actually, there was one guy in particular, one of the security guys. He was being really funny. There was like 3 guys. They'd like put their bikes down. They clearly gone for a ride. They put their bikes down. They were all sitting together in the corner. Because are you exercising?
Let's just put it this way. I used to work for the Olympic Park, so I know plenty of people that work there, and it's been quite ridiculous in the amount of people they've had in that park.
Of course there are. But I mean, okay, like, I think everybody should just fucking relax, because actually it's about the sort of viral overload, right? Yeah.
Yes.
That's the point. It's not just about you get one droplet on you, and yes, that may be the case, but it's also the viral overload. That's what the whole social. So when you go to a park, and actually the chances of that with the UV lighting, etc., in terms of the science, is less. So I think everybody just take a fucking chill pill, honestly.
I agree with you,
Helen. No, sorry, I got to disagree. I get what you're saying, because you're probably in a house with a lot of young people. But let's take this, all right, so it doesn't affect me that bad. But you could become a carrier. And if you're a carrier, you could then pass it on to some old people who have grandchildren, who have children, you know, who have all the life a hold of them. You might pass it on to someone, 1 minute, Paul, you might pass it on to someone who's vulnerable, who's about 40 years old, you know, who's had kidney transplant. So by making them risks about saying that...
The link will go to...
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Alicia came in.
By taking them risks about saying let's chill out, everyone should fucking chill out, I think that's a dangerous thought, because with that attitude, that's how you can then become a carrier and pass it on to someone who's very vulnerable, who will lose their grandparents, who will lose, you know, their loved ones by that.
No, but Richie, I think
at some point. Go on.
They worked it out. At the moment, the ones that are problems, the ones that are shielded. So, like Helen and myself, we've got kids in the family and stuff as well. And listen, I'd love to be in that same room as Helen and Christina right now.
Of course you would.
I'd love to be. But do you know what? I know Helen's got a 9-year-old. 9-year-old. 11. Sorry, I've got. So you wouldn't be stupid enough. I know you're very smart. You wouldn't put that at risk. So, Richie, what it is, what we're trying to say.
Wait. Put what at risk? Alicia at risk. She's at less risk.
Not necessarily.
No.
No,
It
but
doesn't matter.
generally, by statistics, she is a less risk.
Yeah, we've had kids in hospital who haven't, you know.
I agree with you, Helen. But what Rishi was saying statistically, he doesn't agree with statistically about the young or the old.
What I don't agree with is like with that comment you made about, all right, everyone needs to chill out a little bit so we can go to the park and stuff like that. But that's because you lot are healthy. But
hold on,
you can then become a carrier.
Hold on.
I totally disagree.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying, yeah? Who are the statistics people? We are.
Mhm.
So if we don't put it to a test, the people at the forefront can't make measurement.
Okay, I don't know. Sorry, for me, it's a bit conflicting, these kind of statements that we're talking about, because at one minute we're saying, no, we shouldn't open up until June or July, and then the next minute we're saying, no, let's go to the park and have a fucking fiddle.
So, for
You know
example,
just to be clear, the only reason...
For example, you open London Stadium for one day, for one football match, and you see the increase with the track and trace, and you see what it does.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. It's a stupid example, but if you do
that's a different example from going to a park where the social distancing measured in a park. It's massively different.
No, that's if you're social distancing. But what the thing is, a lot of people are in, like Lee was saying, there was a lot of people where the social distancing wasn't 2 meters apart. There were people in circles kind of holding each other and stuff. So the social distancing isn't there. The whole point of social distancing is
and if social distancing outside in the light with UV, the virus has less chance of surviving. Just saying.
Yeah. My point is that, people like me and you, I don't mean to big myself up, but we're quite clever. We're not stupid, but isn't it like 65% of the population are stupid? And that's where all the...
I don't want you saying that, because a lot of these people are going to be watching this going, did he just call me stupid?
But that's the problem, is that we all look at statistics and we all measure things out, and we all look at the 2.5 meter, 2 meter gap that we need to have between people. But a majority of the country don't see that. When you say we're going to open up, they see things as, right, we're fine, we can open up, business as usual. And it's never going to be business as usual.
Exactly.
That's true. I agree with that.
So going back to what Christina originally said, so when we first started, we hadn't actually started the conversation, recording, I should say, about business opening up. Our BAU is not going to be our BAU.
Never.
Life as we know it has gone. So it'll be the schools that open up under social distancing. You've seen South Korea, I think, do it with their exams. They're
a different story. You can't compare us.
No, I'm not comparing.
You've got to look at us at Europe.
Sorry, I'm not comparing. What I'm trying to say is, if you see what the South Korea did for the exams, they had to book out a football pitch, right? And everyone separated on a football pitch, and that's how they did the exams. So there was no exams being taken place in a school hall.
Wait.
You know? There will be no pubs. Your Weatherspoons and, you going out to your little restaurants will not be there. This will not be happening. This BAU of this exit strategy that we open up is dangerous, because what they're officially saying is to ease our fears that, oh, guys, we're going to open up slowly. But by saying that, you're going to have Joe Public who are going to believe it's all right to go out, when realistically that is not the case.
Okay, wait. I'm just going to throw this all back in your face, Rishi, because let's just all
disagree.
No, but let's just get a fucking grip. And I'm sorry, and this is when I'm not a popular person, I understand that, but it's point of you're going to how much the people at risk are sort of more elderly, etc., and I'm sorry, it's not a popular point of view what I'm saying here, but the point is that how many other lives are at risk when you close down economies, how many people in terms of domestic abuse, in terms of alcoholism, in terms of whatever, in terms of mental depression, locking people up, and uncertainty about what their livelihood is going to be. I mean, I think that is more, frankly, detrimental in the long term to society than, frankly, and I'm sorry, but the culling of a certain percentage of a population. And I'm sorry, it's not a popular thing to say, but it's
you know what?
Right.
That's your thought pattern. That's absolutely fine. So,
all right.
you're happy that we open up in the next 2 weeks, full on.
I didn't say that. I did not
That's
say
what
that.
this conversation's about.
No, you're
That's
putting
what
words
this
in my mouth,
conversation's
and I didn't
about.
say that.
With the conversation of this conversation is
But
that
I did
are
not.
we
No,
happy
you're
for
putting
an
words
early
in my mouth,
lockdown?
and I did not say that. But I said, what I do stand by
But
what
that's
I
what
did
happened.
say, and that she should open up more, and there should be more of a like a
We should
level.
open up next week. I'm saying I don't think
me
we
and
should
Next
Talia are
week,
on the
no,
same
but-
wavelength, to be honest.
But
Mm.
if I think it's like Italy on the 4th of May, that's the government saying that the entire country is going to open up and this is the phase 2, blah, 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 every week. But each region, the region where I come from, each region could decide according to how good, the ratio of cases has been. My region has been open since the 27th of April. People are going to the beach. They're checking that you are going to the beach and there is a distance. And to be honest, it is working a bit. People are much calmer. They're not going crazy.
Yeah.
And despite being Italians, that they hate following rules, if they want to be, and listen, if they want to be free and going back to work, like friends of mine that they started going back to work, they need to follow rules. But they are so much appreciating now the things that they haven't had for 2 months, that they are actually respecting it. And I think that UK should open slowly. Events, as much as I would want to go back to work tomorrow, it ain't gonna happen, and it's not gonna happen. And I'm happy for that, because we need health. For me, is more important than money now.
Exactly. I'm sorry,
I
Paul's
agree
got his
with
hand
you.
up. Go on, Paul.
Yeah. So I agree with Christina and Helen there. Yeah. It depends on the circumstance of the person. Like elderly, they're the most vulnerable people. Plus the region. Like in America, they're doing it totally different. Certain states, they're opening it because they're vast. Certain states in Italy, they're vast. But in Bergamo or Milan or Crema,
They're shut.
they're different. They're different. That's where it started, which was that they've calmed it down. But London is so populated. Why would you want to separate the little village in Suffolk compared to London? And,
Yeah, I get that.
and so the exit strategy should be done according to the statistics. What Helen's saying, age.
I agree with that. Paul.
Yeah, age first, because there's so many different strategies, and we all could be right here. Age is one. Number plates on cars, they do it in India to stop projection. They in India to stop pollution. Yeah, do you know what they do?
Yeah, the number on your plate decide the day you go out.
That's it.
But they do in Italy also. In Milano, it's like that
What do they do?
since
Odd
20 years.
number plates. Odd number plates.
Yeah.
At the end number, you're allowed out on the other
Yeah,
day.
but that's slightly. It's okay. That's great, but it's slightly going off the point. The point is if there's bits of population that are more at risk, and then by the science have deemed
Most
more
important.
risk, then they are the ones that should isolate rather than the whole of the population.
Yeah, and Helen,
the economic detriments and all the other detriments that will come because of that in the future.
And
I mean,
Helen,
it's scary.
You're right, Helen, and we've got enough information for the last 6 weeks to distinguish that. You're right.
Exactly.
No,
So what would
Guys,
you want to do?
guys,
To
we've
open
got-
up or not?
Guys, we've gone way over time anyway because I have to edit this quickly. So go on, Raheem. I'm going to go to you on my top right. I'm going to go around the screen and go around. What do you think? Open up early or open up in another 3 months, maybe 2 months? Wait till July.
No, his opinion.
Well, for me, if it opened up, well, I've read an article that said that the coronavirus is in a detergent and stuff like that. So we already exposed to it every time we put our clothes on. So it might be less, but it's still there. Which I would believe that it should open up, but it should open department, more essential things, not just healthcare and stuff like that. Open back up, like banks, just trying to get the economy back to work, but not as rapidly as like just go open everything at once. Just little
Yeah,
by
exactly.
little. Their partner.
I agree with Raheem in stages. In stages, I agree with Raheem. Yeah.
Go on, Helen.
Go on, Paul. You're my next right. Sorry, man.
No,
Going around that way.
no, go on, Helen, go on.
But no, I just agree with Raheem. I mean, it will happen in stages. It will
What do you
happen.
think?
The opening will happen in stages. It will happen in, and then the likelihood that it may again close down in October, November is high. But in terms of opening up again now, it will happen in stages, and it will happen in terms of, and unfortunately, the events hospitality industry will be last. And that's sad to say, but it's true.
Yeah.
Go on, Christina.
Yeah, I think the same. They should start opening up because you can't stay in months. You should take the example also of China. You need to start and you need to do phases like they do phase 2, 3. Events will be last, we all know. Restaurants, pubs also will be one of the last because that's anything that is, crowd and mass gathering will be the last for sure. But you need to start shops, things, offices. People need to just go back to life, but slowly.
I agree.
Go on, Lee.
I mean, I'm in two minds really. There's there's the point of, at the end of the day, what is 100,000 people to our 65.5 million population?
No,
sorry, 6.5.
Not scratching.
Sorry, girls. Sorry, girls. Let him talk. Can you say that again?
I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. There's the way of looking at it as the deaths that may happen. What percentage is that of our population? And yes, it is the elder population. But yeah, I think we'll open up slowly but surely at the end of the day. And yes, our event industry will be destroyed and we will open up last and it will suck for all of us. But at the end of the day, we've got to suck it up.
Yeah, definitely. Is that everyone? Paul, have you said your piece? I don't even know.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Christina was saying and Helen and everyone here, what you're saying. But when you got kids, I want to fight the world, but because I've got kids, I'll hold back a little bit. You know what I mean? So I think they should open it in stages, like everyone said. Open it in stages, but hopefully those stages are the right ones, like medical first, like hospitals, doctor surgeries, chemotherapy places, all of that first. And the last thing to, obviously, like what Christina said, is stadiums and stuff like that. But there might be a system. Let's see what the system is. So the system might be that you've got a little kind of button on your phone that have been tested.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, testing.
It's about testing, Lee. I agree with you.
Actually, can I have a request, Rishi, next time, because there's a whole other discussion, but that's a whole, because the thing is, the two things about opening up society is dependent on two things, testing and tracking versus privacy. And I love that discussion.
I love that discussion.
Yeah, that's a total.
It's not for today, clearly, because that's a whole other, but that's what's next on the cards, and it's an important discussion, frankly.
Very important. I agree with that. Testing and your privacy is a massive debate.
Right. Yeah. So I just want to show a hand. Do you think we should start opening up in 4 weeks? If you're yes.
In what?
Okay.
No, but in what? All in one go? I mean, that's what.
No, but I think the strategy. The thing is, right? I know this whole thing about.
I think yes, they should start, because otherwise, what do we do? The rest of the world is starting slowly.
I think this whole thing about. Yeah. No. Sorry, guys. I've got to stop you quickly. You have to realize one thing. You have to realize one big thing. Europe and all these places were in full lockdown. They couldn't even go to the park. Yeah. So it got to the point where it's like, right, guys, they need to go out or they're going to go mental and other things are going to start happening, health and whatever. Yeah. We have not been in full lockdown. We've had a very luxurious lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah, so but we need to work and make money.
A little bit longer.
We need to work and make money. Italy is
But
opening
you
up.
still won't make money though, Christina.
No, but
You
you
won't.
can do another job. There are so many other things.
But you can do
need
that
to-
now, though. But you can do that now. You can go and join Sainsbury's. You can join Tesco.
I
They're-
have the
they're taking-
unpopular
It's not as
opinion
easy as that.
that economy is more important than people's lives, depending on the percentage. That's a very unpopular opinion.
No,
That's a-
I'm sorry. I agree with. No, Lee, I agree with you because it's about. Yeah, people may not die right away, but the thing is the effects on people's lives that are not just immediate. Like you're not going to die in the next.
All right. Okay.
But
So
I think it's
I'm gonna. So let me put the. So you lot are saying the economy is more important, obviously, than people dying. So let's just say that
Percentage-wise.
last week.
Percentage-wise, so
Percentage-wise,
don't
so let's just say in the last 6 weeks, this whole campaign of stay home, stay safe, stay home, save lives, you're saying percentage-wise was bullshit.
No, I never said that.
I'm not saying you're saying
No,
that. I'm just asking.
I didn't say that at
no.
all. Because
No.
now we're past the peak. You know, then it's a different ball game.
I don't think
No,
they passed the
listen.
peak.
Sorry to butt in there. Those on furlough and those that are getting enough money or on an ethical thing, all of us are talking about ethics here, yeah? And we're so passionate about life, they should stay at home, yeah?
I
Those that
agree.
need it and need to work, like Lee said he needs to work.
The only
right?
problem with
And,
that.
and everyone needs to work. I'm not a millionaire, you know what I mean?
Paul, sorry
We
to
need
say that.
work.
Sorry to say that. The only problem with that is, at the moment, they've got an excuse for their love of life to stay at home because the businesses are closed. So they can say, the minute a business opens up and they say, right, you got to come to work, these people are now in a predicament because they don't feel
Right.
safe to, they don't want to, they're
I'll
forced
And
to.
who's paying for
I'll
this
give you an
furlough?
example, yeah?
Tax is
I'll
paying
give
for the
you
furlough.
an example. My sister, she's a biomedical scientist that works 5 days a week, has been dropped down to 3 days a week.
Yeah, everyone has. A lot of people have.
That's not fair, and she should be there. But she don't do testing on coronavirus. She does testing on cancers and people with kidney problems
That's a
and stuff
shame.
like that.
I must admit, that's a shame. I think no matter what you're doing in the NHS, should be there fully in all kind of health because
Yeah, but like
you know,
what Christina said, it goes in stages. It needs to go what's most important first, according to what Helen said, according to age.
Well, susceptibility, perhaps not just age.
yeah, because it's not just age. Everyone keeps saying it's age. It's not. I had a 38-year-old, I'd say cousin, not really my first cousin. She's like second or third. 38 years old, passed away because she had an autoimmune disease.
I know a 30-year-old.
You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah,
can't
but
say
they've got
age now.
specialists.
You know, that's
You're right. Yeah,
No,
But there's specialists. There were specialists to say that's a specialist system that's quite special,
I don't know
and
what
then
that
they need
means.
to put that
Specialist.
at the forefront. You're right.
Yeah, so right, okay, quickly because we've gone way over time, and I'm gonna have to cut this as well because we haven't gone way over the 20 minutes we initially said. So hands up if we open up in 4 weeks' time, even if it's only slightly.
How many weeks?
4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's everyone. Well, I don't see you all a bit like that. Should we know? You know what I'm safely going to say is people don't really know. You know, they want to open up, but they're still not keen because everyone's going like that. So the answer really is, even by your actions, there is you don't really know. So we know as much as the government. I don't think they know if they should open up.
They don't know fuck all.
Nobody knows.
Fuck all.
Well, that was fun.
I mean, I like to say yes, but again, I have reserved.